Welcome back to Moments with Myra, the space where stories heal, inspire, and remind us of the power of human connection. Today's episode is deeply moving and rooted in love, sacrifice, and second chances. I'm honored to sit down with Lynette Cox and her brother Marshall Patterson to talk about a life changing journey that brought their bond to an even deeper level. Lynette faced one of the toughest battles a person can endure, the need for a kidney transplant, and Marshall made the selfless decision to become her living donor. Their story is not only about survival, but it's also about family, faith, courage, and what it truly means to give from the heart. So settle in with the open heart and join us for this powerful conversation. Hey guys, thank you so much for being here with me this afternoon.
Thank you for having
Thanks
us.
for having us.
Absolutely. So now for those meeting you for the first time, tell us a little bit about yourselves and your relationship growing up.
Well, I'm Lynette Cox, as you stated, and this is my brother Marshall. We are 15 years apart. So that everybody gets makes a joke about that all the time because we're 15 years apart. So he's more like a son to me
Mhm.
than a brother. Would you say that?
Yeah.
Okay. So so we've been close. I've actually begged for a sibling because I was the only child until he was born. So I was lonely. I wanted a sibling. So
So
he
it was a
came along.
blessing.
Yes. So when he came along, I was happy. Most people be upset because, you're 15 years old, you want to go off and, do your own thing. I
Yes.
was I was I was excited and happy, and I took him everywhere with me. So we always had a close relationship.
That's pretty cool. That was pretty cool. And I like how you were saying, like when we were 15 years old, how we want to just be footloose and fancy free.
Hmm.
But he ended up being a blessing in disguise. Who would ever thought that a little brother, 15 years younger, would end up being a blessing in disguise like Marshall
Right,
had? That's
right.
awesome. So now, how would you describe your sibling bond before the transplant journey began?
We was close. Um, uh, I didn't see her as often, but we always keep in touch. Our whole family always keep in touch. So it wasn't like I didn't see her at all. We didn't talk at all, or it wasn't any negative energy or bad vibe
Yeah.
between us or anything like that.
'Cause he still stayed at home. I moved out the house, got married, had a whole separate life. So, and he was still in high school and doing his thing with his friends. Because
Mhm.
it was two different generations basically.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah. But we've always been close. If he ever needed anything or had problems, he could always come to me and talk to me when he wanted to. When he wanted to.
Hmm.
But we've always had a close relationship.
Good. So now, what are some of the childhood memories that reflect the closeness that you guys share today?
That's how far we.
Yes, yes. The childhood memories that I remember was him being a baby, and he was like glued to my hip because I was the living babysitter. So,
Hmm.
I did everything with him, because I couldn't date until I was 16.
Yeah.
So when I was able to date, I got so close to him being with me and he was so close to me, I couldn't stand to hear him cry after me. So
Mm.
I would always say, well, I just take him with me on my dates. And my mom would always have his diaper bag ready to go.
Because she already knew what it
Yeah,
was
I
going to
already
be.
knew. Yeah, so that was the memories that I've had, up until even when I moved out the house, it was like if mama couldn't do it, I would do it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a beautiful thing because I know I'm the baby too. And there's quite a difference between me and my older siblings because it was two different families. Like my
Hmm.
dad was married before and then he married my mom. And
Hmm.
so I would say that the difference in age is kind of like that too. And looking back, you're absolutely right. I was definitely the Velcro baby. I was definitely in the middle when my brother was trying to date. I was in the middle of them looking like, what you doing with my brother? So I get it, but it does make for a wonderful connection now that all of us are grown.
Right, right.
So, Lynette, let's start talking about when did you first learn that your kidneys were failing and what emotions came with that moment?
Oh well, I think it was 90. No, it was 2000 something, early 2000s, 2008, I believe, that I was diagnosed with kidney disease. And how I found out was kind of like a fluke because one of my gynecologist, actually, I had a gynecology appointment, and he had said that he wanted to get me checked out because I had protein in my urine.
Mhm.
And he said that that was a sign that something was going on, and he wanted to get it checked out. But before that, I didn't have any knowledge of anything. I didn't notice nothing was going on with my body.
Mhm.
And but it seemed like as soon as he said something like that, um, I think it was that weekend, I started having swelling in my legs. I mean, when I said swelling, it wasn't like the normal swelling. It was like my feet was swelling. My
Mhm.
all the way down to my toes, my ankles were swelling, and I was swelling all the way up my thighs, and that was unusual. And the first thing that came to my mind was something going on with my heart. You know,
Mhm.
if it keeps swelling up like this, it's gonna go to my heart. So that's what made me go to the emergency room. And when I went to the emergency room, they ran all types of tests. I didn't have diabetes, I didn't have high blood pressure or anything like that. So they said something's going on, but we don't know exactly what it is. But it's definitely something wrong with your kidneys. And so they was trying to figure it out. So they made an appointment with me to, or referral for me to go see a nephrologist. And so that's when I was diagnosed. Well, actually, when I went to the nephrologist, they didn't know exactly what caused my kidneys issues or what it was stemming from, but they knew it was my kidneys. So I had to have a biopsy later on to figure out exactly what it was. And I ended up was diagnosed with FSGS, which is a fungal segmental something. I can't really say it, but it's FSGS, where it's where your kidneys have scar tissues, and those scar
Okay.
tissues wasn't healing, and so it was that's where the protein was leaking out of, was coming from.
Gotcha. And you know what? You made a good point, honey, where you said I wasn't diabetic. I didn't have high blood pressure. And
Mhm.
you know, usually with that diagnosis, those are two of the main factors that
Correct.
are the cause for it. So this is just a good reminder that you know you don't always have to look like everything that the diagnosis say you're supposed to look like, and
Right.
make sure that you stay in tune with your body.
Exactly. And when you say that, you know, diabetes and high blood pressure are the two leading causes of kidney disease, but they're
Mhm.
also the two, they're called the silent killers, because you
Yes,
can't look at anyone and tell that they're diabetic. You can't look at the person and tell that they have high blood pressure, and you definitely can't look at the person and tell they have kidney disease unless
yes.
you know what to look for.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly. So, Marshall, what was your first reaction when you learned your sister would need a transplant?
Um, I didn't really have a reaction or anything. I didn't take it seriously until we all had a
Hmm.
meet at the hospital. The whole family
Hmm.
broke it down to us, and then they had were saying that she needed a transplant, and one of y'all guys are best suited for her to
Hmm.
to get through the situation. That's when I started taking it seriously. But up until then, I wasn't really thinking too much about it. I thought it was something that'll pass over.
Hmm.
Our family don't have any history of um, anything bad, like a bad health situation, something like that, especially. So yeah, I didn't think too much of it until then.
Well,
So
and I didn't mean to cut you off, honey, but I wanted to tell you just thank you for your honesty and transparency with that answer because that's the way it is for most families. You know, if they say, oh, somebody has cancer or somebody has this or somebody has that, you're kind of like, okay, you know, but then it doesn't really get real until you all are in that consultation room talking about this, we have to do this, things got to go that way or this way. So I really, really appreciate your transparency because I know some people could be like, well, how would you not take that seriously? And this, that, and the other.
Right.
But how, and especially in that because we've worked in the hospital, we understand that everybody doesn't understand the terms and the keywords and
Right.
stuff like we would pick
Correct.
up on, So I think it's important to acknowledge that, because I would never want anybody to say, well, he didn't care, he didn't take it seriously. That's
Right.
not what we're saying at all. But it's just that sometimes we all check in at different points.
Right.
You know
And you
what
know
I mean?
what? As a patient, as the
Yeah,
patient, it took a minute for me to wrap my head around it as well.
absolutely.
Because I look at being sickly like that,
Mhm,
I'm going to be in pain. I'm
mhm,
not going to be able to work. I'm not going to be able to do my regular everyday routine. But I
mhm.
was, and I was not in pain. I didn't know. I was like, I'll be okay. Just give me some medicine. I'm good.
That part, look, I'll
Yeah.
drink me some more water, I'll drink some cranberry
Right.
juice and all the
Right.
things that we do. And I
Right.
think that that's another thing to note too. Listen to your body. And I don't know about you, Lynette, but I know when I was working at the hospital, it made me more aware of little things. I started
Mhm.
noticing little things a little bit more than I did prior to working in the healthcare field. So this is also just a reminder to everybody to listen to your body. If there's the slightest thing that's off or whatever, take it seriously, because, like you said, you didn't know. And
I didn't
just think, if
know.
you wouldn't have had that appointment with your gynecologist, you would have still been walking around thinking everything was good until it wasn't.
Right.
So
And
we have to
actually,
say,
I'm sorry. Actually, one of my friends went with me when I got the official diagnosis
mm-hmm,
after my biopsy, and they explained to me what the findings were. And he tried to break it down to me, the doctor did. And I was like, okay,
mm-hmm,
all right. And
right,
then my friend that went with me, she was a nurse, and she was like, do you understand what he's saying? I was like, yeah, something's wrong with my kidneys.
mm-hmm,
And she was like, this is serious. And I'm like, I know, but he said I could take these meds and it'll slow down the process. And I'm good. He
mm-hmm.
was like, okay.
Exactly, exactly. So now I know that you were talking about you didn't have any symptoms, but after it hit you and after you was like, oh, okay,
Right,
this is like for real, for real.
right.
What were some of the emotional challenges that you experienced
Oh
during kidney disease?
man, oh, it was a roller coaster, an emotional roller coaster. Um, when the symptoms finally started hitting and coming, I understood where it was coming from, but at
Mm-hmm.
the same time, I was still trying to wrap my mind around it because my definition of being sick, I wasn't having those type of symptoms. The symptoms I was having, I was swelling, I was tired all the time. I couldn't eat certain foods like fried foods.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't eat fried foods. The smell of bacon made me sick on my stomach. The smell of, how you drive by Burger King and you can smell
Mm-hmm.
the Whoppers being,
Whopper.
yes, that made me sick to my stomach. The only thing I could eat was Wendy's chicken nuggets and the baked potatoes. That's the only thing I could eat that didn't upset my stomach. Yep.
Wow. And
So
see, I'm glad that you said that too, because again, everybody's symptoms don't look the same. And that is far from what I thought you were going to say as far as some of the symptoms from the beginning when you
mhm,
started having the symptoms.
right. And I was just when I started having the symptoms and everything, it was summertime. It was like 90
Mhm.
degrees, 80, 98 degrees, 100 degrees. And I was like, that saying, the heat is draining my energy. So I would
Yes.
go and just lay down in the air conditioner and go to sleep and I'm good. But that was part of the symptoms, that tiredness. And it was a tiredness that wasn't on the surface. It was like deep down in your bones
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
yeah. And then
And how
with me not being able to eat, I was losing weight, and I was like, I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
I overstand that part, honey. I overstand that part. So what about your mental? How did it affect you mentally?
Oh, mentally, it was like I said, a roller coaster. Some days I had good days, some days it was awful. I was really down on myself, like, why me? It was like,
Mhm.
why do I have to go through this? I've been through so much already. Why am I going through this? Um, it was like relationship wise. It was like nobody want to be with me because I'm sickly, and they don't want to have to take, who's going to take care of me, you know? And that really switched my mindset when it came to relationships as well, because you know, my main thing before I was diagnosed was cheating. I don't want nobody cheating on me. If you cheat on me, it's done deal and blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And then it switched over to what it really means to say to death do us part, or in sickness through health.
Yeah.
So then I was like, well, who's going to, you know, how will I know if they're going to be there to take care of me? Who's going to, you know, how do I introduce this to the relationship?
Exactly.
When,
Like,
you know,
when do you do it? When
do
do
I
you
do it?
introduce it?
You know, and
Mhm.
then, you know, who's going to do that? And how would I trust that they're going to do that? Because you never know until it happens.
Exactly.
You know, and at that time I was still doing for myself. I was still working, and, you know, but who knows down the line where I would be.
Mhm.
And if, you know, so forget the cheating, that ain't no big deal. You know,
Yeah.
you need to think about and look at the people who, you know, who you think is going to trust, who you're going to trust to take care of you
Yes.
in sickness, you know.
In health. Mhm.
So that's where my mind was. It was like, it was something.
Now, Marshall, when did you know in your heart, honey, that you wanted to donate your kidney? How did that even come about, where the decision was made? Said, well, Marshall is a good match. So, Marshall, what you gonna do, bro?
Yeah, what you gonna do, bro?
When I was, to be exact, when I was told we would be a perfect match. And
Really?
yeah,
Mhm.
so it was just automatic to me. I didn't really think twice. I wasn't nervous or nothing. It was just,
Let me intervene here. He's very humble, very humble. He. I don't even think I don't even remember asking. I think I was telling my parents, and he was in the conversation that
Mhm.
I needed a transplant. That it got to that point that I needed a transplant. Because, like I said, I think everybody would just walk around like, "Oh, you'll be okay." You know, I was still functioning. It's not seen on the outside, you know, except when I started losing weight and wasn't able to eat and stuff like that. But physically, it wasn't really showing, you know, how sick I was, to the point where the doctor was like, well, you need to start looking for a living donor if you don't want to start dialysis. And I definitely didn't want to do dialysis. So
Mhm.
that's what made me actually start talking about transplant and what was really wrong with me and how bad it was. So we had that conversation. I was talking to my parents. He was just there. What I remember, he was just there. And so
Mhm.
he was like, my dad was like, I'll do it. And my mom was like, well, you know, I can't do it. Then my brother was like, well, I'll go get tested too. And at the time, they have educational classes for patients who's going through the process. And they
Mhm.
educate the patients about the surgery, what to expect. And they also educate the patients about living donation and seeking living donation and the importance of living donation. So they said, you know, invite potential donors to come with you to this class. So I invited my father because he said he was interested in being a donor, and my brother because he said that he'll go, and then my cousin Lori, she said that she would come, and so it was just information. It was just finding out what they need to do to be a donor to see if that's what they wanted to do.
Mhm.
So at the end of the class, they show the surgery and everything. But at the end of the class, you fill out an application to be a donor. And all three of them filled out an application to be a donor. And it just so happened that my brother was the youngest. He was a sibling, and he was a perfect match. He ended up being a perfect match. Yeah. So
That is just a blessing in itself. Like, I'm
it
just sitting here
was.
like, how in the world could it be that easy? You know what I mean? I'm so thankful that it was that easy
Right.
and that
Because it's
everything
not
came
always that
together.
easy. It's
Yeah,
not that
it's
easy for
not.
everybody. No. No.
Wow.
I was really blessed. And I didn't realize how blessed I was until after the transplant. And I had to go to post-transplant clinic, which it was like every week. I think it was 2 times a week we had to go to the clinic to get checked out to make sure that the kidney was functioning right and everything was doing good. And I was
Mhm.
meeting different other patients that was in different stages of the process. And so that's what made me really open up my eyes. Was like, I had it made, because there was people that was there that this is their second transplant, or their transplant didn't take the first time, or they in kidney failure again, their kidney was rejected. So I was like, let me shut up for talking.
So now, how did your family respond to Marshall's decision at becoming a donor? Was there any hesitation, resistance, or anything like that on their part?
No, if it was, they didn't say anything. And I
Mhm.
know it was kind of, I know my mom was scared and worried. And my
Yeah,
father was too. I know they were, because it was both of their children having surgery at the same time.
same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a lot at stake, for them,
Right.
for both of your children to be having surgery at the same time.
Right.
So during this time, what role did faith, prayer, or spirituality play during the process?
Mm, I prayed a lot. I actually prayed a lot. It was one of those wake up in the morning and I'm feeling good. I go about my day. I'm good. But those mornings when I wasn't feeling good, or those days that,
Mhm.
I was at an emotional wreck, I talked to the Lord a lot. I
Mhm.
did, I kind of, um, I don't want to say I sheltered myself, but I kind of separated myself a lot from
Yeah.
others, to a certain extent. But yeah, I try not
And
to let it show, but it was there.
I understand that completely. And I think sometimes when we're going through stuff like that, Lynette, other people may not understand. You're not trying to be funny, but you do have to kind of separate yourself so that you could process things. Because,
Right.
even with Marshall making that decision, I'm sure that there's things that he had to process where he just had to step back for a second and be like, man, like this is really happening. And even though I know I said I don't have no problem, still we're gonna both be in surgery. Like this is a lot. So
Mhm.
I definitely understand that.
Maybe
Now,
I got a story.
okay,
I
Marshall,
want to
like,
know
oh
before
Lord.
When we was both in the now, sort of the now, am I saying it right? And
Mhm.
when the doctor called me, when they called me to say that I was on a wait list, I was like, oh, I'm on a wait list. Okay, I didn't think I was that bad to be on a wait list, but I'm on the wait list. I wasn't, most people like happy, and I was like, okay, I'm on the wait list. I'm surprised.
Mhm.
But when they called me, like maybe two weeks prior after that, they called me and said that we want to schedule the surgery, and I was like, are you serious? Am I that bad off? That's what I was saying to myself.
Yeah.
And I said, let me call you back. Let me call you back. So I called my doctor and I said, they just called me and wanted to schedule the surgery. I said, and I literally asked him, I said, is it that bad? And he was like, yes, you need to go ahead and have that surgery, go ahead and schedule when they want to schedule it. And I was like, okay. And then after I finished talking to my doctor, I called Marshall and I said, they want to go ahead and schedule the surgery next week.
I don't remember exactly, but I can imagine now. I was like, that's fast. Like,
That's what he said. He said,
yeah,
already? I just
yeah,
said, yeah.
yeah.
And so when we went, when it was time for us to have the surgery,
Mhm.
he was like, well, we just go ahead and get it done. Let's just go ahead and get it done and get it over with. You know, the night that we check in the night before this the day of the surgery and we get prepped. I'm in the hospital, in and out the hospital. By that time, I was just used to it. It was like
Mhm.
home away from home. So I went in there, unpacked my stuff, put on my little gown and everything. And then we were on the same floor. I went to his room. He's sitting there, and I said, well, they get ready to come and prep you. Go ahead and put your gown on. And he was like, okay, I put my gown on. And then I left out so they can go ahead and give him his IV and everything. I go back in the room. He has his gown on and Timberland boots still up, laying up in the bed. And why you still have your boots on? He said, just in case I got to go.
Yeah.
Hey,
He said he was gonna be a soldier to the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll never forget that.
So now, Lynette, what was it like waking up after surgery knowing that Marshall had given you such a beautiful and amazing gift?
Well, the first thing my parents told us this. They said that when I came to, I was asking for Marshall. Yeah, I was asking about him and making sure he was okay. And then when I was able to, because when you have a transplant, they keep you in ICU for I think the first 2 days. So when I was finally able to go to my room, I wanted to go to see him first before I went to my room. And then come to find out, he was asking for me too when he came to.
See, I love it. Y'all, I'm not going to be on here crying, but this is just such a beautiful story because let's just be honest. People these days are selfish. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Even family members, you know,
Right.
and just you guys' story and Lynette knowing you. And I remember when you started kind of going through things and it was like really fast. It was like 1 minute,
Really?
I'm looking for a donor. The next minute,
Yeah.
I got a donor. So I was like, I'm just now processing that we're looking for a donor, and then you had already had the surgery.
Yeah.
So it was literally just that fast. But just hearing the background story of it is just such a beautiful thing. Now, Marshall, how did you feel physically and emotionally after surgery?
Man, I was hurting. I was sore. I was now I'm kind of like, man, why I do this? You know, I can't move around. I can't go out with the guys. I'm on bed rest. Every little move I make, it hurts real bad. So now I'm like, I could have waited. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, and that's real tough though. That's real
Because
tough.
my mind was faster than my body.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was the same way. When I first started moving around and everything, I was like, oh gosh, what is going on? I woke up with IVs in my neck, and it was just I was unreal. I was like, when how are you gonna take this out? You gonna knock me back out to take these out?
Because surely I'm not gonna be awake.
Right. So, but it was an experience. And then he was able to go home before I was. But he was like, I don't want to go home yet.
Yeah.
He didn't leave until I left.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, and I hate to say all like that, but it's just such a sweet story because all of the transplants that I have ever heard about with living donors or that my friends have experienced have been people outside of the family. You guys are the first ones that I know personally where it was inside the family. So that's why I'm just like, oh, like this is just such a beautiful story. And like it's just like really, really got me. But I also have to commend Marshall again for him. I like you, Marshall, because you're not a man of many words, but when you do say something, it means something. You know what I mean? So I just really, really appreciate your honesty and your transparency about it. Now, for both of you guys, what were some of the challenges, or did you face a lot of challenges as you were recovering?
We
saw her, but
yeah. We this is another thing that we joke about. That's why I looked at him and laughed because my mom took care of us. So she put us back in our childhood rooms.
Yeah. Yep.
She put us right back in our childhood rooms. And that was an experience with her trying to take care of both of us and telling us what we could and could not do all over again, checking in on us. Well, checking in on me in the middle of the night. I don't know if she checked on you in the middle of the night, but she checked on me in the middle of the night. I mean, she took care of us, and then we were sharing the same bathroom. Said both of us was constipated. That's one of the worst parts of recovery was being constipated.
Okay.
Yeah. But he could get up and he can walk around. He can go outside and walk around. And I couldn't leave the house. My mom was like, "It's too many germs. You're not leaving out the house. You staying in the house." You know. So yeah. But then we had friends that would bring movies over So we watch like comedy movies and
The wrong thing.
the wrong things to watch because neither one of us could laugh. We'll be holding pillows and trying to laugh.
Yeah.
So now, how has this experience changed the way you see life and family? And this question is for both of you guys.
You go first.
I didn't really start thinking like that till really as I got older.
Okay.
You know, because I can't remember a time period or whatever, but I know I had to be spiritually prepared way before I even knew it, you know, or realize that type of thing to go through with this, you know, this whole procedure and everything like that. So, you know, it took me some maturity to start thinking on that level.
Yeah.
Or it was just like, it's family, I gotta do it, you know, and it's a perfect match, why not, you know? But now it's like, it's way deeper than that too. It's layers to it. So me understanding that, I'm more, I don't take it lightly, you know.
Yeah.
I actually had to break it down to him and let him know exactly what he did. He actually saved my life because he was like, we just had surgery. And he didn't get mad when I would tell people and brag about the fact that he donated to me, that he's a donor. And he was like, well, why are you telling everybody? Don't be telling everybody.
Like that,
And, you know, he's still like that to a certain extent, you know. So I'm like, you have to realize what you've done. The importance of what you've done.
Yes.
So, and it's good to encourage other people to do the same and to look at him. I always say, you are the prime example of a young Black man that has donated and still walk around here living his life. You know, people think once you donate, you give up everything. You can't do nothing. You know, he's still living his life, no medication whatsoever. You know, I'm like, you are a prime example of what others should look at as far as living donors or being a living donor.
Yes. And also too, it's okay for you to pop your collar a little bit about it and toot your own horn, because that's a huge deal. It's not like you just fixed a flat tire. You see what I'm saying? This is huge. This is life altering huge. And
I didn't have to beg him to do it. I didn't have to beg. I didn't have to say, you know, it's my life. And I didn't have to go through all that. I didn't do all that with him. He was like,
he is a blessing. It was like, okay, like, I'll give you my kidney. We're gonna go out to eat next week. No big deal.
Right. So but and it changed my perspective because it makes me realize that you never know.
Yes.
You just never know, because I don't know what caused this. My doctors could not pinpoint exactly what caused me to have kidney failure. I was taking hydroxycut to lose weight at the time. So they think that I was being dehydrated for too long of a period of time. I was working out constantly and all this. So they think that that may have been the cause, but they don't know for sure. So, and like I said earlier, I didn't have any other the common symptoms or the cause. So you just never know. You just never know.
So what do you wish more people understood about kidney disease and organ donation?
I wish people would understand that there's no shame in telling people that you need help and that you are seeking a living donor. There's no shame in that. There's no shame in asking not only your family members, but put it out there publicly for strangers to do it, because there are more strangers that are donating than family members.
Yes, ma'am.
And I want them to know that do your research, do your own research. Don't go by what you hear or what you see on TV, especially about donations and about doctors taking your organs. And you know, if I put it on my license and they just gonna take it, they're not gonna try to save me. You know, that is a myth.
And you know one thing about us Black people, honey, we're gonna believe a myth.
We're gonna believe a myth, right? I need my organs to go to heaven.
Yes. Yes.
I need
All
all
of the
of me.
things. So now, Marshall, what would you say to someone considering becoming a living donor but feeling afraid?
I would say, well, it's sort of, I got two sides to it. So since it's my family, it's my sister, it was a little bit easier for me to make that decision. So if it's a stranger, if they even thinking about it, thought about it, then maybe they should consider it. Because for them to even think that way, to be willing to do that, then maybe, maybe they should, maybe they meant to do it or whatever. But you know, I would say if it is a family member, at least go see if you are able to,
Yeah.
And if it's in your heart to do it, then do it. But yeah, like I said, it's two parts to it for me, because if I was a stranger, then I probably wouldn't have been so willing to do it.
Yeah. It wouldn't have been as easy.
It wouldn't have been as easy. Yeah. Even if even if I was willing to, it's still a stranger at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So,
I understand.
yeah.
I understand.
It's
So-
different.
But at the same time, though, I think it's important, like he said, if you thought about it, if it even was a thought, then do your research on it. Find out all the information for yourself to make sure that you're comfortable in doing it. Don't just go by what you hear.
Right.
Yes.
Do the research. And like he said, look into it, go to the doctor, get tested, or even fill out the application, because they actually interview the donors to make sure they are not only physically able to donate, but mentally able to be donors.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yes. They go through, they speak with not only the doctors, but they speak with the living donor coordinators who go through the whole process, and they talk about the risk. They talk about the surgery itself and what the surgery is about. They actually go through the testing. When they go through the testing, they make sure that they are overall healthy enough to be a donor, that they can actually live a healthy, long life with one kidney.
Okay.
Yeah. They and they also, you talk to a social worker as well. And the social worker talk to you about why you're doing it, to make sure you're not being bullied into being a donor. Whether you're a family member, a stranger, or whatever, they want to make sure this is your decision, and that you have all the information that you need to make sure this is the right decision for you.
That's good, because I didn't realize that. I knew that it was intense, but I didn't realize that they went as far as even to like check out your mental status and make sure that you wasn't coerced or bullied into doing it and all that stuff. So
matter of fact, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, honey, I think that education is power, like you said. Get educated.
Yes, definitely. And I think Marsha had said at one time he felt like they was trying to talk him out of it. Didn't you say that at one time?
It's so long ago.
But he said it kept asking him, "Are you sure? Are you sure?"
No, they did. I didn't take that as they trying to talk me out of it, but they were.
But they wanted to make sure.
A lot, to the point I'm like, well, dang.
Should I be doing this?
Yeah, that part. But yeah.
So, what has this journey taught you both about love, sacrifice, and purpose?
That there are people out there that are willing to sacrifice and do for others and do for you. And that it takes a lot to be there for somebody wholeheartedly. It's not just not just talking. You have a lot of people say, "I'll do anything for you," or "I'll go," I will go the extra mile for you. But when it comes down to it,
girl, when it comes time to show up,
right,
you're looking around like,
right. Well, I don't know, So you just never know. You just never know until you're in that situation. You just never know.
Before we close, I want to ask this question to both of you guys. What are each of you most grateful for in this season of life?
I'm personally grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my 4 friends that I have. As you get older, your friend group kind of gets smaller.
Girl, yeah.
So
Look,
I'm
as I
grateful
say,
for them.
clock it.
Right. So I'm grateful for them. I'm grateful for the growth. You
Yeah.
know, this is it's life is a journey, and you're supposed to learn from your experiences, whether they're good or bad. You're supposed to learn from them and grow from them. And
Mhm.
I'm hoping that I am growing more, into what God would have me to be.
And Marsha, what about you?
Family, of course, that goes without saying. And really opportunity to just to go on this crazy journey.
Yes. And y'all know what? Something that just dropped down into my spirit. You need to write a book. You and Marshall need to write a book. Now, I don't know what that looks like or what that means. We can talk, you and I can talk about that at a later time, but
Okay.
I had to say it because it like literally just fell into my lap. And the reason why I think so is it could be a book geared for everybody, but mostly towards African Americans,
Yeah.
because we are myth believers. You
Right.
know what I mean? And so
Right.
you have 2 African American people here who are family members and went through the whole transition, and y'all both still here. Didn't nobody steal the extra kidney? You know what I'm saying? Like nothing
Right.
crazy happened.
Right.
And I just think that it would be a good story to tell. And I
Right.
can always say, and I had them here first. So,
You're right. You're right.
Right.
You're right. Marshall, we found out after the surgery. Well, I knew beforehand, but he didn't. I don't think he realized. He was probably told, but I don't think it kind of registered.
Mhm.
Excuse me. That when somebody has a transplant, they keep their native kidneys. So I have
Really?
3 kidneys, but 2 of them don't work. He
Okay.
has 1 kidney because he gave me one of his.
Mhm.
When he found out, he said, "I don't think that's fair. You have 3 kidneys and I only have 1."
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Marshall, I'm sure if you want one of the ones that's not working, we can put it in there just because.
No, that's okay. I'm good.
And yes, every once in a while he threatens to take my kidney back too.
Well, honey, look, that's just regular sibling rivalry, I
Right,
guess. So,
right,
yeah, it's
right,
still all in love, but don't make me take that kidney
Yeah.
back.
right. When I stress him out, matter of fact, he said it the other day. He said it the other day. He said, "You stressing me out now. Don't make me come and take my kidney back."
But I love it. You guys, to Lynette and Marsha, thank you so much for sharing such a vulnerable and beautiful testimony with us today. Your story reminds us that healing can come through courage, compassion, and the unbreakable bonds of family. A transplant may have changed Lynette's life physically, but the love behind, Lord, I don't want to get choked up, girl, but the love behind the gift touched hearts far beyond the hospital room, and it's just such a blessing. To everyone listening today, if today's episode moved you, please share with someone who may need hope, encouragement, or awareness about organ donation. Until next time, this is Moments with Myra, where every story holds power, every voice matters, and every moment can inspire healing. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for having us.